In the world of politics, some leaders quietly come and go, but a few leaders shape the destiny of their nation. One such leader is Benjamin Netanyahu, a man admired by his supporters, criticized by his opponents, and known around the world as one of the most powerful political figures in modern Israel. He has led Israel for many years, survived political crises, won multiple elections, faced corruption trials, and played a central role in some of the most intense conflicts in the Middle East. But who is Benjamin Netanyahu really? How did he rise to power? And why is he one of the most controversial leaders in global politics today? This is the full story of Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu was born on October 21, 1949, in the city of Tel Aviv, shortly after the establishment of the modern state of Israel in 1948. His birth came at a time when Israel was still a very young nation, facing many political and security challenges. Growing up during this period had a strong influence on his personality and his views about national security and leadership. Netanyahu was born into a highly educated and intellectual family. His father, Benjamin Netanyahu, was a respected historian who specialized in Jewish history and the history of the Spanish Inquisition. He was known for his strong views about Jewish identity and the importance of protecting the Jewish state. His father's ideas and academic work had a deep influence on young Benjamin, shaping the way he later thought about politics, history, and the future of Israel. His mother, Siegel Netanyahu, worked as a teacher and had a strong role in raising and educating the children. She encouraged learning, discipline, and curiosity in the family. Because both parents valued education, the household environment was full of discussions about history, politics, and global events. Benjamin Netanyahu was the second of three brothers. One of his brothers, Yonatan Netanyahu, later became a famous Israeli military hero. Another brother, Ido Netanyahu, became a doctor and author. The three brothers grew up in a competitive but supportive environment where achievement and discipline were strongly encouraged. During Benjamin Netanyahu's childhood, his family spent several years in the United States because of his father's academic career. His father worked and taught at universities there, which meant that Benjamin experienced two very different cultures while growing up. Living in America had a huge impact on him. He attended school in the United States and quickly became fluent in English. He adapted to American culture, sports, and education, while still maintaining a strong connection to Israeli and Jewish identity. Because of this experience, Netanyahu later became one of the few Israeli leaders who could communicate very comfortably with American audiences and international media. As a teenager, Netanyahu was known to be confident, intelligent, and ambitious. Teachers and classmates often described him as someone with leadership qualities. He was interested in history, politics, and international affairs even at a young age. He was also very active in sports and physical activities, which helped develop his discipline and determination. Despite spending time abroad, Netanyahu always maintained a strong emotional connection to Israel. When he finished high school, he decided to return to Israel to serve his country. This decision would soon lead him into one of the most important chapters of his life, his service in the Israeli military, an experience that would later shape his leadership style and political beliefs. His early life, family influence, and international upbringing played a crucial role in forming the personality and ambitions of the man who would eventually become one of the most powerful and long-serving leaders in Israel's history. After finishing his early education, Benjamin Netanyahu returned to Israel to fulfill a duty that is very important for many young Israelis: military service. In 1967, he joined the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, the National Army of Israel. At that time, the country was facing serious security threats, and the military played a central role in protecting the nation. Netanyahu was selected to serve in Sayeret Matkal, one of the most elite and secretive special forces units in the Israeli military. This unit is known for carrying out highly dangerous missions such as intelligence operations, counterterrorism missions, and hostage rescue operations. Only the most skilled and disciplined soldiers are chosen for this unit, and the training is extremely tough. During his service, Netanyahu went through intense military training. Soldiers in Sayeret Matkal are trained to survive under very difficult conditions. They learn advanced combat skills, strategy, teamwork, and how to make quick decisions during dangerous situations. This experience helped shape Netanyahu's character, teaching him discipline, courage, and leadership under pressure. While serving in the military, Netanyahu participated in several military operations. These missions were often secret and dangerous, involving counterterrorism activities and security operations aimed at protecting Israeli citizens. During one operation in 1972, Netanyahu was wounded while taking part in a rescue mission at Sabina Flight 571, when Israeli commandos stormed a hijacked airplane to rescue passengers. Although he was injured, the mission was successful and became one of the notable operations carried out by Israeli special forces. Netanyahu served in the army for several years and eventually achieved the rank of captain. His time in the military had a lasting influence on his thinking. It strengthened his belief that Israel must always remain strong and prepared to defend itself. These views later became central to his political career and his approach to national security. However, one of the most emotional and defining moments in Netanyahu's life came in 1976. His older brother, Yonatan Netanyahu, was a commander in the Israeli army and also served in Sayeret Matkal. During a dramatic hostage rescue mission known as Operation Entebbe, Israeli commandos traveled to Entebbe to rescue passengers who had been taken hostage by terrorists. The operation was a daring and complex mission that involved flying thousands of kilometers to reach the airport where the hostages were being held. The Israeli forces successfully rescued most of the hostages. However, during the operation, Yonatan Netanyahu was killed while leading the commandos. The loss of his brother deeply affected Benjamin Netanyahu. Yonatan was considered a national hero in Israel, and his death became a powerful symbol of courage and sacrifice. For Benjamin Netanyahu, this tragedy strengthened his determination to fight terrorism and protect his country. After completing his military service, Netanyahu left the army but carried with him the lessons and experiences he had gained during those years. His time in the Israeli military shaped his leadership style and his strong focus on security and defense, principles that later defined much of his political career. For Netanyahu, the military was not just a chapter of his life. It was an experience that helped form the beliefs and determination that would later guide him on his path to becoming one of Israel's most influential political leaders. After completing his military service in the Israel Defense Forces, Benjamin Netanyahu decided to continue his education. Like many young people who wanted to gain international knowledge and experience, he returned to the United States to study at a university. In the early 1970s, Netanyahu enrolled at the famous Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the most respected universities in the world. At MIT, he studied architecture and later continued his education in business management. The university was known for its challenging academic environment, where students were encouraged to think creatively, solve complex problems, and develop leadership skills. During his time at MIT, Netanyahu showed himself to be a hardworking and ambitious student. He was determined to complete his studies quickly and successfully. In fact, he finished his bachelor's degree faster than many students. His education in architecture helped him develop strong analytical and planning skills, while his business studies gave him knowledge about economics, management, and global markets. While studying in the United States, Netanyahu also experienced American culture and society more deeply. Because he had already spent part of his childhood in America, he was comfortable with the language and environment. This made it easier for him to communicate with people and build connections. His strong English-speaking ability later became one of his greatest strengths when speaking to international audiences. After finishing his studies, Netanyahu began working in the business world. He joined the Boston Consulting Group, a well-known international consulting company. In this role, he worked with businesses and organizations, helping them solve problems related to management and strategy. This experience helped him understand how companies operate and how economic systems function. However, during this time, another event had a deep influence on his life. In 1976, his brother Yonatan Netanyahu was killed during the famous Operation Entebbe. The loss of his brother had a strong emotional impact on Benjamin Netanyahu. It strengthened his interest in issues related to terrorism, national security, and international relations. After this tragedy, Netanyahu became more active in public discussions about terrorism and global security. He organized conferences and spoke publicly about the threat of international terrorism. Through these activities, he began to build a reputation as someone who could speak clearly and confidently about political and security issues. His communication skills and international experience soon attracted the attention of Israeli leaders. Because he was fluent in English and understood American society, he was seen as someone who could represent Israel effectively on the global stage. In the early 1980s, Netanyahu officially began his career in diplomacy. One of his most important positions was serving as Israel's ambassador to the United Nations in New York City. In this role, he represented Israel in international discussions and debates. During his time at the United Nations, Netanyahu became known for his strong speeches and confident communication style. He often defended Israel's policies and argued for the country's right to security. His appearances on international television and in global meetings helped him gain worldwide recognition. These early experiences in education, business, and diplomacy helped prepare Benjamin Netanyahu for the next stage of his life, entering politics and eventually becoming one of the most influential leaders in Israel's history. After gaining experience in diplomacy and international relations, Benjamin Netanyahu decided to enter the world of politics. His strong communication skills, international experience, and deep knowledge of security issues made him a promising political figure in Israel. Netanyahu joined the Likud, one of Israel's major political parties. Likud is known for its conservative and right-wing political views, especially its strong position on national security and defense. Netanyahu quickly became active in the party and began building connections with other political leaders. His political career started to grow in the 1980s. In 1988, Netanyahu was elected to the Knesset, which is Israel's national legislative body. Becoming a member of the Knesset was an important step for him because it allowed him to participate directly in national decision-making and government policies. During this period, Netanyahu served in several important government positions. One of his roles was Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, where he helped manage Israel's international relationships. In this position, he continued to represent Israel on the global stage and worked to strengthen the country's diplomatic ties with other nations. Netanyahu quickly became known for his powerful speeches and confident leadership style. He often appeared in international media interviews, explaining Israel's policies and defending the country's security actions. Because he spoke English fluently and understood Western politics, he became one of the most recognizable Israeli politicians abroad. His popularity inside the Likud party continued to grow. In 1993, Netanyahu achieved a major political milestone when he was elected as the leader of the Likud. This victory made him the main political challenger to the government at the time and placed him at the center of Israeli politics. The political situation in Israel during the early 1990s was very tense. The country was involved in difficult peace negotiations with Palestinian leaders. These negotiations were part of the Oslo Accords, which aimed to create peace between Israel and the Palestinians. Netanyahu was critical of some parts of the Oslo agreements. He believed that certain security risks could threaten Israel's safety. Because of these views, many voters who were concerned about security began to support him. In 1995, the Israeli political environment changed dramatically after the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin, who had been leading the peace process. The country entered a period of political uncertainty and emotional tension. The following year, in 1996, Israel held a historic national election. For the first time, Israeli citizens voted directly for their prime minister. Netanyahu ran as the candidate of the Likud party. During the campaign, he promised stronger security, careful diplomacy, and protection of Israel's national interests. His campaign message focused on safety, stability, and strong leadership. The election was extremely close and highly competitive. But in the end, Netanyahu won the vote and became the Prime Minister of Israel. At only 46 years old, Benjamin Netanyahu became one of the youngest prime ministers in the history of Israel. His victory marked the beginning of a long and influential political career that would shape Israel's domestic policies, international relationships, and role in global politics for many years to come. In 1996, Benjamin Netanyahu achieved a historic political victory when he was elected Prime Minister of Israel. At just 46 years old, he became one of the youngest leaders in the country's history. His victory was significant because it came during a time of great tension and uncertainty in Israeli society. The election took place shortly after the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin, who had been leading peace negotiations with the Palestinians. After Rabin's death, the country was deeply divided about the future of the peace process and national security. Netanyahu ran in the election as the leader of the Likud party. His campaign focused heavily on security issues and protecting Israel from threats. Many voters were concerned about terrorism and violence during that period, and Netanyahu promised to take a strong and careful approach to negotiations with the Palestinians. In the 1996 election, Netanyahu defeated Shimon Peres, who was representing the opposing political party. The election was extremely close, showing how divided the country was at the time. However, Netanyahu's message of security and strong leadership helped him gain enough support to win. Once he became prime minister, Netanyahu faced many serious challenges. One of the biggest issues was the relationship between Israel and the Palestinians. The peace negotiations that had started earlier under the Oslo Accords were still ongoing, and Netanyahu had to decide how to continue those discussions. Although he had criticized parts of the Oslo agreements during his campaign, Netanyahu did not completely stop the peace process. Instead, he tried to balance diplomacy with strong security measures. In 1998, his government signed the Wye River Memorandum, which was a new agreement between Israel and the Palestinian leadership. The agreement involved negotiations with Yasser Arafat, the leader of the Palestinian Authority. The talks took place with the support of the United States and President Bill Clinton. The goal of the agreement was to reduce tensions and continue the peace process between Israelis and Palestinians. However, Netanyahu's first term as prime minister was not easy. His government faced strong political disagreements both inside and outside Israel. Some people believed he was too cautious in the peace negotiations, while others believed he was giving too many concessions. Inside Israel, political conflicts within the government coalition created instability. Different political parties had different opinions about security, settlements, and peace negotiations. These disagreements made it difficult for Netanyahu to maintain a stable government. In addition to political challenges, Netanyahu also had to deal with economic and social issues inside Israel. His government worked to improve economic policies and strengthen Israel's international relationships. Despite his efforts, political pressure continued to grow. By 1999, early elections were held again. In that election, Netanyahu lost to Ehud Barak, who promised a new approach to peace negotiations and domestic policies. After the defeat, Netanyahu temporarily stepped away from the position of prime minister. Many people believed that his political career might be coming to an end. However, this was not the end of Netanyahu's political journey. In the years that followed, he would make a dramatic political comeback and eventually become the longest-serving prime minister in the history of Israel. After losing the 1999 election to Ehud Barak, many people believed that the political career of Benjamin Netanyahu might be coming to an end. Losing the leadership of Israel was a major setback for him. For a short time, Netanyahu stepped away from the top level of politics and focused on private life, public speaking, and writing. However, Netanyahu remained an important figure inside the Likud party. His supporters still believed he had the experience and leadership skills needed to guide Israel during difficult times. The early 2000s were a period of growing tension in the region, especially during the Second Intifada, a period of violence and conflict between Israelis and Palestinians. Because of these security challenges, many Israeli voters started to focus again on leaders who promised strong national defense. Netanyahu's reputation as a tough and experienced leader helped him regain political support. In 2002, Netanyahu returned to government when he joined the administration of Ariel Sharon. He was appointed as Minister of Foreign Affairs, where he worked to strengthen Israel's relationships with other countries. Soon after that, he became Minister of Finance, a very important position responsible for managing the country's economic policies. As finance minister, Netanyahu introduced major economic reforms. At that time, Israel's economy was facing serious challenges, including high unemployment and slow economic growth. Netanyahu introduced policies designed to strengthen the economy, reduce government spending, and encourage private business development. These reforms were sometimes controversial, but they helped improve Israel's economic performance. Many supporters believed his policies helped modernize the economy and encouraged innovation and business growth. During this period, Israel's technology sector expanded rapidly, helping the country gain the reputation of being a global center for startups and innovation. In 2005, Netanyahu resigned from the government because he strongly disagreed with Prime Minister Ariel Sharon's decision to withdraw Israeli settlements from the Gaza Strip. Netanyahu believed the decision could create security risks for Israel. His resignation increased his popularity among voters who shared similar concerns about national security. The next major moment in Netanyahu's political comeback came in 2009. By this time, he had once again become the leader of the Likud and was ready to run for prime minister again. During the election campaign, Netanyahu promised strong leadership, economic growth, and improved national security. His message connected with many voters who wanted stability and experience in government. After the 2009 election, Netanyahu successfully formed a coalition government and returned to power as Prime Minister of Israel. This victory marked the beginning of a long period of leadership that would define Israeli politics for more than a decade. Under Netanyahu's leadership, Israel strengthened its economy, expanded its global relationships, and increased its focus on national security. Over the following years, Netanyahu continued to win multiple elections and remained a dominant figure in Israeli politics. His political comeback proved that even after losing power, he still had the support, determination, and influence needed to return to the highest office in the country. This comeback eventually led him to become the longest-serving prime minister in the history of Israel, shaping the country's politics and global role for many years. Despite his long political career and many achievements, Benjamin Netanyahu has also faced serious controversies and legal challenges. Over the years, these issues became some of the most debated topics in Israel and attracted attention from the international media. One of the biggest controversies in Netanyahu's career began when Israeli investigators started looking into several corruption allegations against him. The investigations focused on claims that he had received expensive gifts and special favors from wealthy businessmen and media owners. These investigations eventually developed into several legal cases. In 2019, the Attorney General of Israel officially announced charges against Netanyahu, including bribery, fraud, and breach of trust. This was a historic moment because it was the first time a sitting Prime Minister of Israel had been formally charged with such serious crimes. The cases became widely known in the media as Case 1000, Case 2000, and Case 4000. Each case involved different accusations. For example, one case involved allegations that Netanyahu and his family received expensive gifts, including luxury items and cigars, from wealthy supporters. Another case involved claims that he attempted to influence media coverage in exchange for political advantages. The most serious accusation was related to Case 4000, which involved claims that Netanyahu provided government benefits to a large telecommunications company in exchange for positive media coverage from a news website connected to that company. Netanyahu strongly denied all of these accusations. He repeatedly said that the charges were politically motivated and that he had done nothing illegal. According to him, the investigations were part of a campaign by political opponents and certain media groups who wanted to remove him from power. The legal cases created deep divisions in Israeli society. Some people believed Netanyahu was being unfairly targeted because of his political influence and long time in power. Others believed that the rule of law should apply to everyone, including the prime minister. Despite the legal challenges, Netanyahu continued to remain active in politics. In fact, even while the trial process was ongoing, he continued serving as prime minister. This situation was unusual and sparked strong debate inside Israel about political responsibility and legal accountability. During this time, Israel also went through several national elections in a short period. Political disagreements about Netanyahu's leadership and the corruption charges made it difficult for parties to form stable governments. This led to a period of political instability, with multiple elections taking place between 2019 and 2022. Supporters of Netanyahu continued to argue that he was a strong leader who had improved Israel's economy, strengthened national security, and increased the country's international influence. They believed the charges should not prevent him from continuing to lead the country. On the other hand, critics argued that a leader facing serious criminal charges should step down and allow the legal process to move forward without political pressure. The corruption trials remain one of the most significant chapters in Netanyahu's political story. They have raised important questions about leadership, accountability, and the relationship between politics and the legal system in democratic societies. Even with these controversies, Benjamin Netanyahu has remained one of the most influential and powerful figures in Israeli politics. His supporters see him as a strong and determined leader, while his critics view him as a deeply controversial political figure. These legal battles have added another dramatic layer to the long and complex political career of one of Israel's most well-known leaders. In recent years, Benjamin Netanyahu has remained one of the most talked-about leaders in global politics. Much of the international attention around him has been connected to the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestinian groups, especially Hamas in the Gaza Strip. For many years, tensions between Israel and Gaza have led to repeated cycles of violence, rocket attacks, and military responses. However, the situation became dramatically more serious during the October 7th attacks. On that day, fighters from Hamas launched a large and unexpected attack into Israel. The attack included rocket strikes and armed assaults on towns and communities near the Gaza border. Many Israeli civilians and soldiers were killed, and others were taken hostage. The attack shocked Israeli society and created one of the biggest security crises in the country's modern history. As Prime Minister, Netanyahu immediately declared that Israel was at war and ordered a large military response. The Israeli government launched a major military campaign in Gaza with the goal of weakening Hamas and rescuing hostages. The conflict quickly gained worldwide attention. News channels, governments, and international organizations began closely watching the situation. Some countries expressed strong support for Israel's right to defend itself. For example, leaders in the United States publicly stated that Israel had the right to respond to the attacks and protect its citizens. At the same time, the conflict also led to serious humanitarian concerns. Because the Gaza Strip is a very densely populated area, the military operations caused heavy destruction and large numbers of civilian casualties. International organizations such as the United Nations raised concerns about the humanitarian situation in the region. As the war continued, Netanyahu's leadership was discussed and debated around the world. Supporters argued that he was acting to defend Israel from terrorism and protect national security. They believed that a strong response was necessary to prevent future attacks and weaken militant groups. Critics, however, said that the military operations were causing too much destruction and suffering in Gaza. Some governments and international groups called for ceasefires, negotiations, or humanitarian aid to reduce the impact on civilians. Inside Israel, the conflict also created political pressure on Netanyahu's government. Some Israeli citizens supported the military actions, believing they were necessary for national safety. Others questioned the government's strategy and leadership during the crisis. The war also had major diplomatic consequences. Netanyahu held meetings with leaders from different countries, including officials from the United States and European nations. These discussions focused on military cooperation, humanitarian aid, and possible long-term solutions for regional stability. Because of these events, Benjamin Netanyahu once again became a central figure in global politics. Every decision made by his government was closely followed by the international community. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Gaza remains one of the most complex and sensitive political issues in the world. As Prime Minister, Netanyahu continues to play a major role in shaping Israel's military strategy, diplomatic relationships, and security policies. For supporters, he is a leader determined to defend his nation. For critics, his policies are controversial and highly debated. But regardless of opinion, one fact is clear. During these recent conflicts, Benjamin Netanyahu has remained at the center of global attention and political discussion. Over the decades, Benjamin Netanyahu has become one of the most influential and recognizable leaders in the history of Israel. His long political career, multiple terms as prime minister, and strong presence in international politics have left a deep impact on the country and the wider Middle East. One of the most important parts of Netanyahu's legacy is his long time in power. He became the longest-serving prime minister in Israeli history, serving multiple terms across different decades. His leadership shaped Israel's policies on security, economics, diplomacy, and technology. Netanyahu is widely known for his strong focus on national security. Throughout his political career, he consistently argued that Israel must remain powerful and prepared to defend itself from threats. Because Israel is located in a region with many political tensions, security has always been a central issue for the country's leaders. Netanyahu believed that maintaining military strength and intelligence capabilities was essential for the nation's survival. Another major part of his influence has been Israel's growing international relationships. During his years in power, Netanyahu worked to strengthen ties with several countries around the world. One of the most significant diplomatic achievements during his leadership was the Abraham Accords. The Abraham Accords were a series of agreements that helped normalize diplomatic relations between Israel and several Arab nations. Countries such as United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, and Sudan agreed to establish official relationships with Israel. These agreements were supported by the United States and were considered a major diplomatic breakthrough in the Middle East. Supporters of Netanyahu argue that these agreements helped reduce regional isolation for Israel and open new opportunities for trade, tourism, and cooperation between countries that previously had little or no formal relationship. Netanyahu's leadership also had a major impact on Israel's economy and technology sector. During his years in power, Israel strengthened its reputation as a global center for innovation and technology. Many international companies began investing in Israeli startups, especially in areas like cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and medical technology. This growth helped Israel become known as the startup nation. However, Netanyahu's legacy is also controversial. While many supporters praise his leadership and achievements, critics argue that his political style created divisions within Israeli society. His long time in power, political battles with opponents, and legal controversies have led to strong debates about his leadership. Some critics believe that his policies toward the Palestinians and the Gaza Strip increased tensions in the region. Others have expressed concern about political conflicts within Israel during his leadership years. Even with these debates, Netanyahu's impact on Israeli politics is undeniable. Few leaders have shaped the country's direction for as long or as strongly as he has. For many supporters, Netanyahu is remembered as a determined leader who strengthened Israel's security and international influence. For critics, he represents a controversial political figure whose decisions created both progress and conflict. Regardless of different opinions, Benjamin Netanyahu remains one of the most important and influential figures in the modern history of Israel. His story reflects the complex political landscape of the Middle East and the challenges of leading a nation in one of the world's most sensitive and closely watched regions. From a young soldier in elite forces to a global political figure, Benjamin Netanyahu's journey is a story of ambition, power, controversy, and survival. And even after decades in politics, his story is still being written. Because in the world of politics, the most powerful stories never truly end.